Reece with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Yo, 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 what up? What up? What up, friends? You know what it is. Ballin' Buds is back at it again. We are here with our Major League Baseball roundtable, and you see I got some special guests joining me today. On the far right, you know him as always, my MLB insider here at Ballin' Buds, my brother Mike. How you doing today, sir?
Good, Omar. Good to see you, man.
Hey, good to see you as always here on always been on every single MLB stream or podcast I have had. That man has been there, and I appreciate it. And joining us here in the middle, a very special guest for the first time on Ballin' Buds, but not a stranger to the Ballin' Buds family because he is part of the I.O.W. Sports Network family, and you know them from Wild Card Mar, Detroit, Mel, Nick, and the boys. Holla at their other boy that you never seen, but you're seeing now, Jersey boy MJ.
What up? What up? What up? It's good to be on. Good to be on. Let's get this fucking rolling, boys.
There you go. So yeah, make sure you tap in with Jersey boy and the rest of the I.O.W. Sports crew, Wild Card Mar, the rest of them. You know, Detroit, Mel, Nick. Please tap in with all of them. The content is amazing. Also, make sure you subscribe to Ballin' Buds, BALLANDBUDS. There's a handy QR code up there at the top. You can stream that, and that'll take you to our link tree where you can find our YouTube, Instagram, and everything else. Also, please make sure you hit that like button. Whether watching now or on the replay, it is free to you, but it is invaluable to us. Shout out, Mark. We see you, brother. Thank you for tuning in.
And just so y'all know, I collect jerseys for a living. So tonight, I'm wearing something that means a lot to me. There's sentiment behind this. I'm wearing number 4, Lou Gehrig. Okay?
Ooh.
My closest friend, brother, family lost his father last year to Lou Gehrig's disease. So I got number 4 on for that. To my left here, I got my Joe DiMaggio number 5. Where is he? Here's my
Do a little of this action, and we can make that a little better.
There's my DiMaggio.
Yes, look at that bad boy.
Yes, sir.
That is nice.
And it's the old school color. You know, like that cream of white sort of. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, back in the 50s when they used to have that cream color. Mm-hmm. Well, since we're showing jerseys, I might as well show a couple I had brought out the closet just in case we were showing off. Got me a little.
Dude, you don't make me go to the closet.
No, you good. You good. I just want to help out a little bit.
There we go.
Little Nolan Ryan, Jacksonville Suns jersey.
That is dope.
And also, this one is where did it go? Where's the blue one at? Oh, I have to find it later. I have a Oaks Goose Gossage.
Goose.
Like light baby blue. It's beautiful. What's your favorite?
And Wild Card Mar knows I got an authentic George Brett jersey from the 1980 season.
Ooh, yes.
He was one of my favorite players growing up. It was George Brett and Don Mattingly. They was my 2 favorite.
The craziest moment ever when he hit the home run and the pine tar.
I have an autographed picture of that. Just as like he's getting onto the field, you can see the rage in his face. And that's where the picture was taken.
That's awesome. Mike, what's your favorite jersey you've ever had? Baseball jersey you've ever had?
I don't do jerseys.
All right.
They don't. They just don't fit right on me.
Understandable.
Easy enough.
I mean, a lot of the shit I collect and don't even wear. I'll wear like inside for something like this. Like
I think the only jersey I ever had that I actually wore, I had an Adam Jones jersey like 10 years ago.
That's not bad at all. Look what Lamar says. I got more jerseys than the athletes.
Yes, sir.
He knows I got a lot, and I'm still collecting more.
Well, hey, let's talk about some of those athletes today. We're also waiting on one more. Hopefully, Reece Penn from the Rec Room will join us. Hopefully, everything's all right with him. But before we go on, I just want to say happy Bobby Bonilla Day to. Oh, I'm sorry. That was last week. I'm still under trauma from celebrating too hard.
He had the greatest agent ever.
Anyone? Yeah, go ahead, Jersey. What were your thoughts?
What a contract that was. Bobby Bonilla days. I mean, that was great investment that they did with him. For him to get a contract and getting paid to what is it, 2030?
2035.
2035, getting $1 million a year for
Yeah,
what? You long gone playing, but you still getting it every year. That's gold. That's gold.
That non-adjusted inflation. That non-adjusted inflation is what got it. That I don't know how the lawyers missed that. That was as crazy. So that it just gets bigger every year. It's crazy.
So now it's blown up. It was $5.9 million, and they were like, "Oh, well, we'll pay it off with the Madoff fund," which we all know what happened there.
Yep. Goodbye.
And now they're paying him it's like $25-30 million after it's all said and done. That's ridiculous. Yep. Anyways, yeah, I just had to lament on that real quick. But let's go ahead and get your thoughts on the season so far. It's been a really good season, in my opinion. I think that we have seen who most of the good teams are and most of the bad teams are. I think we know at this point of the season, earlier than most seasons, who those top tier teams are. But give me your thoughts on the season. Anything that sticks out really permanently? Mike, we'll start with you.
Yeah, the injuries have been what really sticks out to me this year. Just a lot of teams that people thought were going to be good took some poundings injury-wise. Think about the Braves losing like half their pitching staff. It's been it's been an interesting year. A lot of teams that I didn't think were going to be this good turned out doing pretty well. Think about like the Cubs, this run the Blue Jays are on, if you can call it that. So yeah, a lot of teams I expected to be good. I still think there's some sleepers out there. I think there's some teams that are laying in wait that I've seen that are really good teams that the records just don't show it yet. So I think the second half you're going to see a difference, at least in the wild cards in both divisions, on what this is going to look like. I think a lot of stuff's going to turn upside down.
Okay. Would you like to share any of those teams? Maybe the one you think?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, when we talked before the season started, I was pretty hawkish on Texas, and I'm still pretty hawkish on Texas. They're under 500 net right now. I think they're like a game or two under 500, but that's a good team. They got everything it takes to really make a run. Right. They've got two aces up top, real like game-changing pitchers up top. If they can go out there and get a bat and get maybe another one or two bullpen arms, they're 2 games under 500, but that team can be dangerous. And the other one that I think of, it's gonna sound absolutely crazy. I've watched a ton of games this year, and the best team that I've seen every time I've seen them has been Minnesota. That team, their bullpen. You remember, what was it, 2014, 2015, when the Royals had that team where they had like 7 closers. It just felt like everyone they brought in was just this incredible arm.
That was when they had like Joe Ryan and
Minnesota they've just got this bullpen full of absolute studs. These dudes that can come in and just fireball their way through anything. It's another team, if they can go out and get a bat, that's the thing. I think the bats are going to be premium, and they're going to cost a lot this year because there are teams like Texas that I think are just a bat away. Minnesota, I think, is probably 2 bats away. A team like your Mets, I think if the Mets can go out and get bullpen arm and an actual third baseman, like someone that can actually play the position, I think they've got a real chance to turn things around. And by the end of the season, you could be talking about them being like the best team in the league. That kind of a turnaround.
Interesting. Wow. No, I love that. I love the 2 under the radar teams. As you remember as well, I had Texas in the running there for one of my World Series contenders. So yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that they can bounce back. I do love the Minnesota pick because they were actually hot early, and then they let me get MJ on mute real quick. They were hot early, but then they fell off. And now they're starting to come back. So actually, let's take a quick look at those standings, as you just mentioned, and show everybody what we're talking about here. So this is the American League here. So as you were mentioning there in the middle, right, we have our AL Central with the Royals there. I mean, the Twins there, 3 games under 500. The Rangers, as you mentioned, 2 games under 500. And you mentioned the Blue Jays, who swept the Yankees and are now 3 games, above the Yankees. And in first place alone in your AL East, which, by the way, 4 teams above 500 there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think Toronto being 15 games over 500 is probably the biggest anomaly to me. I watched probably 8 different Toronto games. It's a very flawed team, but hey, tenacity, they find a way to win. If you're 15 games over 500, it's not on accident. I'm a big run differential guy, though. I think it tells a lot of stories that sometimes the record alone can't tell. I think they're plus 20, and the Yankees are 3 games behind them. Yankees are plus 102.
Ooh, wowzers!
So if that tells you any difference, I think there's a little bit of luck here. But I mean, it's happened before. Teams stay lucky and they make the playoffs. So I think if I was a betting man, I'd bet the under for them in the second half. But hey, hats off, cheers to them and their fans. They've had a good little first half.
All right, cool. And then MJ, before we get back into these standings, what were your overall thoughts there on the season so far? What's the things that stick out to you the most? I'll be right back. Did you hear me, MJ? Oh, my bad. Hold on 1 second. I forgot. There you go. You're good.
Yeah, unmuted. Okay. The biggest thing in baseball for me, being the fan who I am, I can't believe how bad the Yankees have looked at times. Absolutely terrible they've looked. And you know what? The Mets are the same way. At times they look good, and then other times it's straight trash. So there's going to be damage control, come trade deadline, because the Yankees, they DFA'd DJ LeMahieu today. Which
saw that?
Yeah, saw that coming. Well, you might saw it too, but I saw that coming. Because he just, he still has a decent bat, but he cannot play the field no more. Like he's done in the field. And at that point, you can't just need a guy off the bench for maybe like a contact hitter. It ain't worth keeping. I feel bad for the man, but all right, get on with the Yankees. I'll tell you what, the Dodgers, as much as they're hurting, I thought they would be better than what they really are. I mean, they're a good team, but they're not last year's team. I think they are beatable.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at the other night, like it could be just me going there. They played Houston. Houston clobbered them 18-1. It seemed to me that Houston batters kind of knew what pitches were coming.
A little trash can action.
When you dive into it, it's signs are there, and it just makes you think like they cheated. And the way I say, like they have these pitch comps now. You tell me they can't get tapped into? We're in America, and the government's got every way to get into shit. You tell me if, let's say, Houston alone, if they could do what they did in 17, 18, who's to say they can't tap in? That's what hackers do. Hackers hack into shit.
Yep.
So you tell me you don't have somebody on your team in that field of business that could hack into these and come on. There's no reason for a pitch on. Go back to the normal shit.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to disagree with you. They definitely have the capabilities. There is definitely someone on every team in the IT department that could definitely get hacked into these networks. Would they do it again after being caught with the trash cans the first time? That would be very, very bold. But you
Bold
can't
why,
put
though?
anything past anybody.
If you think about it, bold why? Nothing happened to him. Okay, they suspended the manager and the GM, but the manager's already back on a job in Boston, which I think a lot of times facing the Yankees, like that's where my mind goes. It's like it just seems like Cora has this team doing the same shit.
Okay.
I mean, you can't be terrible against everybody else, but then also when you play the Yankees or a better team, all of a sudden you look great. Like Boston, like they suck. I'm gonna say it, they suck, but somehow they seem to know things.
I mean, I'm not going to say whether they know anything or not, but they are, as we mentioned earlier, there are 4 teams in the AL East that are above 500. That does include the Red Sox, but the Blue Jays are heads and tails right now above everybody on their little 9-1 run. But again, as Mike mentioned, the run differential is so substantial there. You would expect the Blue Jays to regress and then the Yankees to eventually overtake. But you can never put out those Tampa Bay Rays, who even playing in a minor league stadium have been.
Hey, come on!
That stadium is awful. Have you guys seen that stadium?
I have not, but I hate the name.
It is a child stadium. Ooh. It is. I mean, it's a spring training stadium, and that's what it is. It's wild. There's nothing in right field to stop the jet stream in the summer from coming through. So you can just toss a fly ball towards right field, and it'll just go forever.
Yankees were nice enough to let them play in that park, so they could have an advantage, can't they? But they don't.
Who that?
Tampa Bay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
Even though that's their quote unquote home field right now, it's not their home field.
Of course not. Yeah, that feels pretty bad. The one that the A's are playing in is pretty wild too. Their left field, it's on the other side, but their left field's kind of the same way. Like these fields were not built for major league bats. So if you watch these games that Oakland or the A's, I'm sorry, are playing in Sacramento, I call balls, man, they are just flying.
Yeah, and to back you up on that, Luis Severino actually went off on the A's organization recently for playing in such of a sham of a ballpark.
They're bad. They're both not major league stadiums, and they're not even close. But everyone gets the same amount of games. So I know that Tampa's playing all their home games, or like 80% of their home games, in the front half of the season because there's no roof on the stadium. So that the second half of the season, they're playing so many road games. Like they're barely at home at all in the second half of the season. If you look at the schedule, it's pretty crazy. And even home's not home. So I would not expect that Tampa team to stick around that third place in the AL East. Not that there's they're not going to catch Baltimore, but I don't think they're really too much of a threat. They're a good team though. Got good players. Good arms, like the same thing they always do. They got good arms, and they've got these little players. You don't know where they came from. Drafted in like the 14th round from Drexel, who somehow, smack singles and steal bases and are a thorn in your side for an entire series.
Yeah. I mean, it is. They are definitely like that. Look, this is what we gotta say. That is a tremendous indication of what is going to become of the AL East. I did not realize, and I'm glad you reminded me of that they were playing so many road games in the second half. That is bound to take a toll on them with all of the travel, and you can only expect negative regression. And if we're expecting regression from the Blue Jays as well, then you would expect that the Yankees would probably pretty easily win that division unless the Red Sox make some sort of miraculous comeback.
The Red Sox have the one thing you need. If you want to have a shot, you got to have an ace. They've got the ace. So Yankees got their ace in the offseason. Cole's gone, but they got freed. So Those are the two teams. They've got the aces. They've got control.
Cool. Well, let's look at the NL. We just talked about Jersey boy MJ just talked about the Dodgers. They are obviously right now well ahead in the division, 5 games above the Giants. But obviously, 5 games can be easily overtaken in a second half of a season. So the Padres and Giants right there. Diamondbacks, not too far behind. They could catch up, but probably not. And you're looking in the Central, the Cubs and Brewers battling it out there. You got the Cardinals hanging it back a little bit, although they've been up and down this season. And then my NL East, the Braves, all the injuries they had early in the season really set them back, but they're coming back with everybody now getting more healthy, like Acuna and everybody like that. So we'll see.
They still 12 games under. That's they're 13 and a half back from Philly. They got some work to do.
Yeah, Baltimore just swept them too, and that's my team, and they are not good. And Baltimore just went in there.
I mean, because if you look at it now, you got the Marlins ahead of Atlanta, you got the Brewers, you got the Cardinals, you got Cincinnati, San Fran, San Diego, and Arizona, all ahead of them in the standings. So they got work to do just to make the wild card.
Yep.
I mean they're in it, but they got work to do.
Big disappointment for sure. And so the Mets and the Phillies battling it out there, and we'll see, how it comes down in the end. But obviously the Mets have dealt with a lot of injuries. Their pitching is not where
it's all the trade deadline.
Exactly.
Man. It's all the trade deadline. Those two teams, whoever goes out, can the Mets go out and get a third baseman, and which team can get the best bullpen arm? And that's going to decide who wins the division. Those two teams are so equally matched, but the Mets just have that man that they have. It's just a cavernous hole at third base.
You ain't got to tell me. Mauricio had a good game last night, so we'll see if he can be the answer.
Mauricio and Beatty and Viento. If you got 3 third basemen, you don't
have zero third base. That is correct.
Mauricio should be playing second base every day for the next 5 years and not leave that spot. They got to go get a third base.
All right, cool. Well, we got my brother from the rec room coming in, and I got to sincerely apologize to him. I told him that it would be I'm so sorry, bro. I told him accidentally 7:30, forgetting that he's in Nashville with me and not on the East Coast. So he's out here trying to get his Buff Magnus on before getting on for the show. Now he got to run very quickly to get back to the computer. I'm very sorry, my brother, but we're happy you're on. From the rec room, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. The Lion, Reece, Penn. What's good, brother?
What's going on, y'all? Sorry I'm late. Little mix up on time, it is what it is.
Yeah.
How do you get a little pump in?
Yeah,
before you came on
I figured
camera?
I'd get into baseball shape. We're in mid-season. I got to get in the form.
Yep.
Dog days
Yes,
of
sir.
summer.
Hey, you ain't missed nothing. We just started out, and I went around the horn to ask everybody's thoughts on the beginning of the season and what stuck out to them most. So if you want to go on from there, please do.
And you think Detroit Tigers. You know Mel's happy, but Detroit Tigers are very, very good team. They're solid.
Listen, I had a baseball podcast at the beginning of the year, right before the season started, and I predicted the Tigers would win that division. I think they were on their way at the end of last year. You saw them kind of heat up, and I kind of said, if Gleyber Torres and Javi Baez could turn back into the guys we know they've been in the past, this team could be really good. You already know Torkelson and Riley Green and those guys can mash. And Tariq's the best pitcher in the league. There's no one better than Scoops. You got Flaherty behind him. I mean, the teams, they're right there. They're one of my favorites coming out of the AL.
Yeah, best team in the league so far. Most wins, 58. Like you said, reigning Cy Young of the Year, Tarek Skubal. MJ.
He should even repeat.
I was just going to say, he's definitely leading the way as of right now. There's guys like Brown in Houston, and DeGrom's having a good year. Obviously, my boy Crockett in Boston has been phenomenal. But I think right now, Scoobs leads the pack in the AL.
Did you forget to mention Max Fried?
No, I mean, listen, I'm not going to mention any Yankees on this show. You know what I mean?
Oh, boy.
We're going to leave those guys out.
I inadvertently didn't even realize that we're just basically having an AL East show on here with the Orioles.
Yeah, I see it on the right side of the screen. That's crazy. They got the same record as the Rockies the last 20 games, so we'll leave it at that.
Tremendous. Oh, yeah. Mike, your Orioles are bad, bro.
It's been a tough year, man. The injured list, the team on the injured list is really good, though. that team on the IL that's a wild card team on the IL. So
I mean,
we'll just take the L this year and play spoiler. And
would you consider that to be the biggest disappointment of the season? Is the Orioles?
How could it not be? I mean, or Atlanta, one of the two.
Yeah.
Those are the two biggest disappointments for me. I can't imagine. I mean, I know what it's like because I'm in the fan base, but those fan bases are just crushed.
I would say Atlanta definitely, and the Orioles, like as good as those young guys are, they're just not putting it all together. If they could find a way, Orioles will be a problem. So it's just a matter of will they trade off these young.
Hope is not a strategy.
Yeah, that's true.
And their strategy in the offseason is these guys are going to get better because they're 23.
That's what I'm just saying. Like for the Orioles, for their sake, don't get rid of like Adley Rushman, and things like that. Don't do that. Build around them. You know what you have in them. Give them time to develop. You'll be solid.
And as good as that young team has played with a bunch of those guys, you still have a very good farm system. There's still a lot of good prospects in that system. Baltimore's definitely in a good place. It's been weird this year, but we'll see.
Just got to put.
Yeah, their AAA team is in my backyard, so I get to go watch
Norfolk Tides, baby. Let's go.
Yep.
All right, well, we were looking at the standings as well, Reece, and we're about to go into the power rankings. So the MLB.com power rankings obviously have the Tigers number 1, 4 All-Stars, including the starters, as they were all just mentioned. Most All-Star starters since 2015. But they have Dodgers at number 2, as we mentioned in the standings, right? The Dodgers 56 and 38. They're right behind Detroit, who has 59 wins. So they're 3 wins there behind Detroit. They got the Dodgers at number 2. At number 3, they have the Astros. So the surging Astros, never out of it. Maybe tapping with their IT people, hacking into pitch comms, allegedly. Astros.
Anybody here at Dumpster getting banged on right now? I don't even know what's going on.
No.
Before you came on, go ahead, Jersey. Go ahead.
You can't take my jersey off. No, my wife doesn't want me to show off my tattoo I have. So let me run down the tunnel and come out with a regular shirt on, not my jersey. What the fuck are you doing? We ain't stupid. We ain't stupid.
So there were allegations of hacking into pitch comms by the Astros. So we'll see. They have 55 wins. The Cubs there at number 4 in the power rankings, 54 wins, and then rounding them out is the Phillies at number 5 in the power rankings with 54 wins. So how do we feel about those power rankings? Any comments?
I think that's crazy that the Dodgers are still 2, and in their last 5 games they've been outscored like 45-5 or whatever the heck it's been. They're tailing right now.
They lost again today.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they're in a spiral right now. Now, obviously, that team's uber talented. They've spent more money than Jeff Bezos has. It's insane how many talented guys they have. But I mean, 5-game losing streak. Houston's definitely playing better right now. The Cubbies have been good all year. They've gotten all kinds of production from guys that we would have never seen coming.
Shocker that team is.
Yeah, I mean,
who saw PCA being this good?
I mean, what Boyd's doing, what Crow Armstrong's doing. Hell, Michael Bush at first is quietly having a phenomenal year. I mean, they're stacked up, man. Kyle Tucker was a big signing a couple years. Listen, that team's ready to go. They've made some good moves.
Yeah, Crow Armstrong, that is the guy to watch.
I had them winning the Central, by the way, on my first podcast for baseball. So, again, I've only been wrong on New York in the East so far, which was a surprise.
Yeah, the thing about the Dodgers, Omar, is that there's so much pitching that's on the IL right now, right? Like, I don't know if Sasaki is going to make it back this year, but they still got Blake Snell, who's about to start a rehab assignment. Just get a 2-time Cy Young Award winner back, just out of nowhere.
Can you pitch more than 5 innings, though?
Doesn't matter. He won 2 Cy Youngs, doing it already.
Good point. Very good point.
You don't even have to.
They're going to have a taxed bullpen by the time he gets back.
I have a feeling they'll be all right. Trinan's coming back.
Gratterall,
Phillips is hurt. They've got a whole it's it's embarrassing. The riches. They've just got all stars.
He's right. Their IL's crazy. I mean, they've been missing all kinds of guys all year. If they had Glass now, if they had Snell, if they had those guys, we're probably looking at a team that's 5-6 games up right now.
Now to give the MLB.com their credit, because I don't want us to just be shitting on them for no reason. Although when you and I, Reece, went over their other one a few weeks ago, was also got shit on. But this was 3 days ago that this came out, so they probably didn't see the last 3 Dodgers losses. So we'll give it to them there. But yeah, now that Dodgers have lost 6 in a row, yeah, they've fallen down a little bit, and we'll see. But again, it's all about that trade deadline, as Mr. Mike, my MLB insider, mentioned earlier. So let's go ahead and move into that. And let's talk. Oh, somebody got an alert. I don't know what they got on their phone, but let's go ahead and think about it.
That was me. Jorge Polanco hit a solo shot against the Yankees.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yankees up 4-2 though.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and move it into the trade deadline and talk about what we could see. So a lot of people are thinking that with the new playoff expansion that we've seen in the past, few years, with more teams getting into the playoffs, that there will be a lot less action. Logically, that makes sense. A lot more teams are not out of it yet. They're still in the hunt. They're not giving up. They may not want to just start selling off players all of a sudden. But there, as was mentioned on this show plenty of times already in the first 10 minutes, like, all of the contenders need big pieces in order to be able to round out their team and solidify themselves as playoff contenders. So, Reece, since you just came in, we'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts about the upcoming trade deadline? Who do you see could be traded? What teams are you looking at? Anything like that?
I mean, obviously, one of the teams that are going to be the most active, and it's the reason why you can never count those homosexuals out, is those Yankees just above me there. I fucking hate those guys, but they're going to be active. They're going to add somebody to that team. I'm hearing Giancarlo Stanton's on the market. He might be going somewhere. I'm not really sure. He never plays anyway, but they definitely need to add a couple people after Max Fried. I mean, that pitching staff has questions for sure, so they definitely have to look there. And in the lineup, it's got a couple guys. They just designated DJ LeMahieu for assignment, so obviously they've got some holes they got to fill. I think they'll add another bat too. They'll probably be the most active.
All right, Jersey boy MJ, follow that up. That's your team. What do you think about that, and what do you think about any other teams on the trade deadline?
This is a little reply to you, Reece. You're talking to a fan of a team that's got 27 world titles.
20 before you were born.
27.
20 before you were born.
There we go. I knew this was going to happen.
More than 20.
I love that they dominated the 20s, bro, but I mean, it was like 17 then.
I saw them win 5 and lose 2. So.
You ain't seen them win 1 in a little while now.
Ain't that long.
1 in like the last, 10 years?
And who do you root for?
Listen, since the 2000s, we've got 4.
Who do you root for?
You know who I root for.
Yeah. I wiped my ass with that hat.
The only team that ever come back from 3-0, boys. In case y'all forgot.
Yeah,
that's great. So
you can have that one. Fuck that.
Non-Yankees, then, Jersey boy. What else do you think about the trade deadline? Since you already talked about your team.
No, well, what I want the Yankees to do, I honestly would go out and get Nolan Arenado.
Ooh,
that would be a move I would make for third.
Okay.
Because you putting Jazz back to second, perfect. That's his natural position. Now you got young Peraza. They're going to move to third. You ain't got much else for third with Oswaldo Cabrera being down. I would literally go out and I would get an Arenado for sure, because they wouldn't have to take on that much money, and that's a good part about that. And him and Goldschmidt were teammates. Gold Glove third baseman with a good bat. Why not insert him into that lineup? Now, the back end, Yankees have problems with their bullpen. Their bullpen is trash. Straight trash. And ever since Weaver came off the IL, dude's ERA is over 10. That's unacceptable. That's not something you can rely on right now. He's not what he was, and neither is anybody else. Like, they traded for Devin Williams. He's had like a good last 15 games or so. He's been good, but he's another one. He can't be trusted when he's brought in that game in the big situations. So they're going to have to go out and get a back end piece. Maybe if not a closer. I don't know who's available to close, but maybe the guy from Oakland. What's his name? Miller? Reece Miller?
Yeah.
Maybe see what the asking price is on him. Just to go out and shore up the back end. Starting pitching, they've been all right.
Is that me or is?
He is right, because the last time the Yankees were really dominant, it was that bullpen that you could give a lot of credit to when they had Chad Green and all those guys, even when they had Andrew Miller and stuff. So the bullpen's definitely a place to go for them.
So looking at the top bullpen arms, you got Emmanuel Clase from the Guardians. You got Johan Duran from the Twins. Griffin Jacks from the Twins. And that's it. And Aroldis Chapman.
I don't think these teams are out of it.
No.
I don't think they're going to. I don't think the Twins are going to trade away the best part of their team when they're hunting for a wild card.
And Cleveland too, like Class A.
There's like 4 teams that are selling.
Well,
that's it.
The other thing you got to think about too is that if they're on the and I don't know their contract status, but if these people are the last year of their contract, that doesn't really matter. Sometimes you really want the younger prospects and you pick up a bullpen arm later and just hope for the best in the playoffs. So that could also be the case for Clase. I don't know his actual contract status, but for the Twins, you got Duran and Griffin Jacks. You can afford to trade one of them.
They've got like 5 of those dudes.
Okay, there you go. So, Mike, what do you think about the trade deadline? Go ahead, of course.
I've never seen a time where everyone needed like a first baseman and there haven't been first basemen. Like I don't ever remember a time in my entire life where there's just no first baseman. They just don't exist. What happened to you get the fat guy, you throw him in the gym, maybe put something in his butt and have him hit the weights, and then all he has to do is go out there and mash the ball to right field. What happened to that? Like we don't have any of those guys. Everyone needs a first baseman, and there's none out there. So I think it's going to be a race for a first baseman, a third baseman, and those bullpen arms. Whatever's left, because there's only like 4 or 5 teams that are out of it, right?
Now the first baseman, Mike, that has been bandied around the most would be your first baseman, Ryan O'Hearn.
Mm-hmm.
Where could you possibly see him getting traded to?
I mean, I think Seattle would love to get a hold of him. I think they're just a bat away. I think there's a lot of teams that need first baseman. The Twins could use a first baseman. I don't think there's a lot of teams that wouldn't want a first baseman.
Which is why I was glad that the Yankees signed Goldschmidt, because they got him for like 11.5 or 12 million 1 year. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was a good.
They got him on the cheap, but they weren't buying into him to be their cornerstone going forward. They bought him to be a bridge for the next year or two, for maybe like a Ben Rice, or if they go and get somebody, he could be the teacher, sort of, passing it on to him. So that was a great pickup, and what he's doing for the Yankees has been, unbelievable so far. So I'll take it because it was cheap, and I understand why they did it. They weren't looking to invest for like 10 years. A year or two? Okay. That's what we're looking for.
Now, I know you mentioned Nolan Arenado earlier, and he was talked about being traded to the Astros, but then he pulled his name out of those talks with his no-trade clause. So he does have that no-trade clause. So if not Arenado, the only other one that could actually be out there, and that's if the Red Sox decide that they are going to be out of it and trade another superstar, would be Alex Bregman. But I can't imagine they would do that after trading Devers last week, right?
Devers, but yeah, I mean, there have been talks about Bregman. Actually, the Yankees have been linked to Bregman. I know they made a little push. They made a little push for him. He's definitely out there, but I don't think he'll move. Now, one you should look at is actually someone who did just recently get traded, and that's Rafael Devers. I'm hearing that there's a lot of friction going on in San Fran, much of the same stuff that was going on in Boston.
What?
I'm serious. He no-showed on Will Clark to pick grounders the other day, and they have Chapman over there. So, I mean, don't be surprised if one of those guys could move.
Wow.
Yeah, Ryan McMahon in Colorado is another guy. I think there's just not a lot of third basemen out there. There's a lot of teams that need him. I think a guy like McMahon can fetch Colorado quite a bit right now.
Which I wouldn't want
if they can get rid of him.
Do that. Yeah. Not for him.
Also, hey, look out for Manny Machado. That team.
But look how bad they are. What are they going to do? The Rockies suck. There's no point in them keeping
which I understand, but I'm saying I wouldn't break the bank to go and get him. If I'm a Yankee man,
So you think his power is from Coors Field? more than anything.
I mean, he could have that luck in New York, but I just don't see him as a cornerstone third baseman going forward.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, Reece.
Oh, no, I was just saying. I mean, I don't even remember what I was saying. Okay. Oh, I was saying Manny Machado.
Right.
Manny Machado, sorry. I look for him.
Is he on the block?
I don't know if he's on the block, but he's been a guy that's been talked about a lot. That team has a lot of young talent. They also have a lot of big contracts. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to maybe get rid of one.
That's
and
true.
Manny is the older of most of their star guys. So I could see him possibly getting moved, especially to a team that offers big for him.
Yeah, that's very logical. Very logical.
That's a big contract to have to bring in.
For sure. I think
Yeah,
they would have to cover some of it for someone to take on.
Hey, Reece.
It was what, $350 million, right?
Let me ask you a question, Reece. How do you feel about that Devers move? How do you feel about him as a player, the way he was with that organization, and why they traded him? And
I mean, again, I can't speak about what exactly went on in there. I know there was a lot of turmoil, and it was something I talked about in my first podcast that I was kind of worried that it could kind of linger. It could be an issue. There could be something wrong with the chemistry, and it could mess the camaraderie of the team up. So they felt they had to make the move. I don't mind it. Listen, the guy can hit homers. We get that. He's been mashing since he came into the league. But he's made more errors than anyone at third base the last 7 years. He's a complete liability over there. And he wasn't flexible. At the end of the day, you're not a superstar at your position. You're a good hitter, but that's about it. So you got to be some kind of flexible in that kind of situation. So I didn't really like the way he handled it, and just was what it was.
You know, if what is true, you know, he said he didn't want to play first base. Like, he wanted to play third only. You're a professional, man. Like, who's to say you can't move to another position?
It's not like they asked him to go from, like, third base to right field or closer. Like, it's a corner. Like, I mean,
or from third to starting pitcher to the catcher.
Well, no. I understand the first request to move from, and my bad, y'all in the chat. I see y'all chatting. My bad. I apologize, Mar. I'll get to you in 1 second. My bad, man. I'm out here leaving my man Mar hanging. But I understand him getting requested to go to DH, but them requesting me to play first base, which I've never played before, and the two requests are back to back. Like, why didn't you just make that request at the beginning?
You didn't make that request at the beginning because Tristan Cassis wasn't hurt. Once that situation occurred, I feel like if you're a team guy, if you're one of the leaders on the team, you are at least open to it, to have the conversation, to consider it. And he was just basically like, F that, I'm doing me. So I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I think a lot of guys would have accepted at least tried it out. I mean, Jesus. We've seen guys make that move to first. We've seen Bryce Harper go to first. We've seen bigger stars make that move. So,
shit. I mean, not that he's a former MLB and former MVP, but look at Cody Bellinger. He'll step in and play first. You know, there's no center, left, right. You need to play first today.
By the way, I love Cody Bellinger. When y'all got him, that really upset me because he's definitely one of my guys in the league, man.
And I was glad when Boston got rid of Devers because he absolutely kills the Yankees.
I know. That was the only part that hurt me. I was like, you just can't get rid of guys who kill the Yanks. Like, we need those guys in the lineup.
Yeah, I heard that. I was actually driving to my boy's house, and who's a Met fan. So I was on his way to the house, and I got the alert, and I was like driving. I'm like, fuck yeah, Devers is gone. He's out of the AL East. Goodbye.
Reece, I'll play devil's advocate on that trade. Like, if I took a discount and took those years to be a part of a team that told me that I was going to be a part of the decision-making process, and my job was to sit back and hit bombs over that monster or into that little short corner in right field, and then you turn around and you sign a third baseman and don't talk to me about it, I would feel some kind of way too. Now, is it the right thing? Did he make the right move by throwing a fit and saying no? No, obviously not. But looking at it from the other perspective, I can see how he would feel some kind of way
a little bit
about them paying a whole lot of money for another third baseman when they told him, you're our guy for 10 years, take this discount for this long-term contract and
hey, you told me we going steady, Reece.
Right, but and while I can get that,
some other chick.
I mean, I can appreciate that, but things are fluid in that kind of way. And at the end of the day, if you wanted to solidify your spot, you should have worked on some damn grounders. The fact that you made more errors than anyone at that position makes you liable to get moved from that position. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Just watch you kick the ball over there all year?
And that's the thing too. You played that your whole life. Let's say third base, like he has. How are you terrible?
Right. How are you that?
How can you not field your position?
Oh, his job is not to play defense.
Yeah.
His job is to hit home runs into the short porch at Yankee Stadium and run slowly
They
around
have a
the
position
base.
for that. It's called
Run the
DH.
base.
Which he agreed to go to. But
Yeah,
then
he could have been
started using
Poppy.
the
I
first
really thought he should have just turned into Poppy. That was my opinion. But
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so hey, before we move on to the Red Sox, we all talked about real quick because we were looking at the standings. We all were on and off on whether we thought the Red Sox could make a run with how far they are.
made it to our last 10 games. One of the hottest lineups in baseball, just saying.
You guys still suck.
I love it.
Bregman's been out the whole year. Giolito didn't come back until later in the first half. He's pitching phenomenal his last 5 starts. If Brian Bello gets going, we already know Crutchett's one of the 3 best pitchers in the AL right now. And we can hit the ball with those young kids, we've got a shot. We're not out of it yet, I promise you that.
Hey, there you go. And stay tuned. We're going to have our MVP, Cy Young, and World Series picks at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that with a tease.
I can guarantee what 3 teams I'll tell you won't make the World Series.
Well, you know what? We'll wait till we get there.
We can all name 3 teams that won't make the World Series. I mean, that's not hard.
I got 3 fan bases in front of me.
Yeah, we know. I got what you were saying. All right. Anyone else?
The Yankees might not even make it.
He said might.
I can't see that. I think the Yankees and Mets most likely are pretty much in. I'd have to look at the percentages, but I'm pretty sure unless there's some.
Oh, in the playoffs.
Yeah, we're talking about the World Series, Omar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they both have a chance for the World Series too. It's not like they don't. Any team that makes the playoffs has a chance for the World Series. All right. Anyways,
tell him, Omar. Tell him, Omar. He knows.
Any other thoughts on the trade deadline? No.
What's up?
Any other thoughts on the trade deadline before we move on?
I mean, it's going to be fun, man. There's going to be a lot of teams that make some moves. The Yankees will be there, the Dodgers. I can see the Giants because they're actually kind of close. They're right there with the Dodgers. Milwaukee's hanging in there with Chicago. Look for them. And Atlanta needs to figure something out. I don't know what's going on over there, but they can't just let the Phillies and the Mets just run wild in this division right now.
There's always some team that everyone thinks is in it that's just going to start selling.
Exactly.
And it's gonna blow everyone's head up. So,
and always look for those small markets to get rid of guys. Yeah, the Tampas, the A's, those kind of teams will be moving someone.
Minnesota.
So right now, I have the fan graphs up, so you know what I'm looking at. The best percentages to win the World Series right now: the Dodgers have a 21.2% chance. The Tigers have an 11.3% chance. The Phillies are at 10.9. The Astros 8.7. Mets 7.1. Cubs 6.3. Those are your top 5 percentages in fan graphs. So they got the Dodgers as the prohibitive favorite right now with the Tigers and the Phillies in second and third. So that's your fan graphs percentage playoff chances at the moment. All right, cool. That was a great trade deadline discussion. We are at the midpoint, though, so let's go ahead and talk about the mid-season game and who will be covering it. Ball and Buds, baby. I will be in Atlanta, in the ATL, Hotlanta, covering the All-Star game for all.
Are you going to the game?
I am. Yes, I am.
I went to the 2017 All-Star game in Miami when Pitbull and Kesha and all them were there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, me and my pops are headed down there to go hang out and check the festivities. I was invited to come down and cover the Vex. I got some good tickets.
You doing the Derby too?
On the third baseline. I'm not going to do the Derby. I don't feel like it. Alonzo's not going to be there. But I'll be covering the Fan Fest, the Fest, and everything. Well, you know what? Hey, do you want to really know where I'm going to be Monday night? Because I'm planning on going to Magic City. Because I got to hit Magic City on my only trip to Atlanta. So that's why I plan on being Monday night. If you really
I went to the Derby, and that man's boy Aaron Judge put on a show in Miami. It was crazy to watch him hit balls into space.
That's the only part about the All-Stars is the home run derby. I like, the main game it doesn't have like that baseball feeling to it. You know what I mean? It's like, let's say Tariq Skubal, he starts. Let's say he goes 3 innings, no hits. They're gonna pull him out, and that sucks. You know what I mean? You want to see him against the best of the best. Here's what I got. Here's what you got.
In fairness, they're going to pull him out for another number one guy. It's not like you're pulling him out for like bullpen. Like you're giving all these number one guys their shot to do their thing.
I'm not coming in. Yeah,
And
they're not putting me in. So.
one thing
go ahead, Jersey.
No, say the one thing I thought about is, I understand they want one player from each, from every team in the league. How about you just make it, if you're deserving of it, you get the call, instead of just saying, okay, well, let's look at Colorado, as bad as they are. We're gonna put somebody in the All-Star game from them, and let's say that guy don't deserve it. Let's say like you got like the Mets or the Tigers, Yankees, Sox, whoever it is. Let's say they got like 5-6 guys that very well could or should be on it, but some guys are missing out because of the including every team in the league to have a player. It should just be based on whether or not you're good enough.
For sure, and I agree with that to an extent. I mean, obviously, I get what they're doing. They want every team to have a representative and all that. But at the end of the day, if your team's really bad enough that you don't have an all-star, you probably don't have any fans that are watching baseball anyway, so you don't need your guy there.
That is not true. Do not do that to the coach.
I'm just saying. I mean, come on. Who goes to Marlins games? There's like more people at a high school gym.
I get it, but I get it, but at the same time, yes, no, you're completely right, both of you.
You're gonna snub a guy who has 20 homers, 60 RBIs for a guy who has like 5 homers hitting 250 because he needs to represent Colorado. Like, who cares?
If you can have 10 more Rockies fans pay for the money to come to the All-Star game, then yes.
But at the end of the day, it's a business, right?
Yeah.
So I can either engage Denver, the 15th or whatever biggest market in the country, or I could have a 4th player from Detroit on the team that's not going to get any more eyes on my program. At the end of the day, I mean, we all love the game, but they're trying to make some money.
Like I said, I definitely understand. I get that for sure.
Yeah, you can't just leave entire markets, just turn the light switch off and not let them watch. As a Washington Wizards fan, this is what I do every year at NBA All-Star Weekend. I go, I don't need to watch that shit. I got no reason. I don't care about it.
As an Orioles fan, now you'll watch this year because you're going to have
Dude, I watched the All-Star games when Melvin Mora and Brian Roberts were the players from the Orioles on the All-Star team. So just to watch.
But also too, I know you say it's a business, but there's also the integrity of the game. And if you're deciding home field advantage in the most important series of the year, the World Series, then wouldn't it be safe to say you should each have your best players? Like, how is it fair if one league has more bad teams and gets more bad representatives playing against a more stacked team if it's deciding home field in the World Series?
Are they still doing that?
Yep. I thought they stopped that. I thought they had stopped that.
No, they're still, the winner gets home field advantage in the World Series. So that's why I think it should be your best team forward.
Have a good man.
Especially teams like the Rockies, the White Sox. They're not going to be in the World Series, so those guys don't care anyway.
But again, you got to think about the fact that what Mike said, people like him who are Orioles fans that may not even be interested in the team, may be interested in going to the All-Star game if it's in their locale, or even just watching it on TV because one of their players is in there, and that's just more money for the business.
I promise you the All-Star game is going to sell out no matter who's in it.
Correct.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not. Okay, so wait. I am looking this up, and so it says now. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it says right here. I Google searched it, and I'm looking at a couple sources here. That's no longer the case. They no longer get home field advantage.
Really? When did that change?
It's based on the best record in baseball.
It's based on the
that's
best
how it was for a long
record.
time, but I thought they changed that like 5-6 years ago, whenever it was.
They did. Yep.
I remember
2017.
Okay, yeah.
Mike, you're right. Yeah. 2017. And no, Mar, it's not a participation trophy per se, but it is a participation game, and it is meant to represent all players and teams. And also, if you're looking at the history of a game on a yearly basis, if you have one team that's not represented, how do you represent that history?
But maybe if you don't just give an automatic to every team, it would entice teams to get better players on their team so they could be actually represented through merit.
Yeah, okay.
But they also have like Clayton Kershaw is on the team this year just because everyone likes Clayton Kershaw. Right. He didn't even get voted in.
Those commemorative
next year they'll do it for Justin Verlander.
Well,
like Justin Verlander, 0-6. They'll do it next year for him. Like they always have that like legend pick now that comes in, and yeah, it's
Now we will talk about Kershaw in just a second because the reason he did get elected. Let's not throw shade on him. He did get his 3,000.
Well, he didn't get elected. They
Selected
selected him. There's like a legends.
But it
book
was
that
because he got his 3,000
that's a
strikeout though. That's why they did it.
Right. And we've seen this before. Cal Ripken won All-Star MVP in a year. He shouldn't have even been in the game. So,
Hey,
yes,
he hit a
sir.
home
I
run.
mean,
He
that
hit a
thing
home
was
run in the
grooved down
All-Star
the
game.
middle, but I'll give you, he did hit it out.
It sure was.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying
All
you're
right,
wrong.
let's hit some comments real quick. Champ, shout out my brother Champ Ross tuning in. If y'all love boxing, he runs a boxing predictions group. You can pick fights weekly and win money, and it's free to play. So if you like boxing, get with me. I'll get you to him. I'm glad my Giants finally got a big bat who haven't had a 30 home run guy since Bonds. We just talked about Devers. You're lucky that you got him. He's definitely going to mash as long as these rumors of the discontent already are not true. Mar, that's exactly what happens. And I did not do this on purpose. I promise I did not do an AL East stream on purpose. It just happened this way. Chad says Red Sox fans are always delusional. Yes, that is correct. He also says Goodman has 17 home runs and 50 RBIs for the Rockies. Not a bad year for a rookie.
That's
It's a very good point. Very good performance. He
him.
he deserves to be shown out there. He also says they are using robo umps for it too, for the All-Star too. So they are using the robo umps apparently in the exhibition game.
Robo umps are awesome.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think?
They're awesome. Well, I got like I said, I got a minor league team in my backyard, and it's so fast. You get it, and then you just tap your head, and like 2 seconds.
Wait, so
later,
you want computers calling balls and strikes?
I'm totally fine with it. Totally fine with it because the fan, as a fan, you look up at the big screen, and it shows the box, and it shows the pitch come in, and you get to see just the 3 millimeters, 2 millimeters of that ball wasn't in the strike zone. It's exciting. It's fast. I'm telling you, it doesn't sound great. I didn't like the way it sounded either. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is good. So you got to see it. You have to watch it in play. Watch it in the game. Hold your judgment until you see it in the All-Star game, and then come back and talk about it. Because once you see it, that the grandpa in you that's, the game ain't the same as it was. When you see it play in front of your eyes, you're going to like it, I think. It's the same thing the way that I felt about the changes they made with the pitch clock and all that stuff. I didn't like it. Then I watched it and I was like, oh, yeah, this makes sense.
Greg Maddux would be having an aneurysm if he was called by a robot. I'm just like, no. This guy lived 2 inches off the corners.
Nolan Ryan would fist fight that internet.
Damn right.
That is great.
In a headlock. Yeah. Robin Ventura.
Yep.
But watch it. Seriously, give it a shot when you watch it at the All-Star game. It's really interesting. It's just like other exciting little third thing out there.
Now, I will say, in the future, if they are going to use the robo-umps in the major leagues, it's only going to be on a challenge basis system.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
It wouldn't be every single ball and strike. The team would have to ask for it. So,
look, all that dirt around home plate, you got to have someone to kick it at, right? You gotta.
I agree. I don't like the human element being taken out of it, but if it is only for challenge calls, I have no problem with that because there are times when umps are very horrible. We all know.
At times, shit, every game, every night.
I was about to shit on old boy, but I really don't want to. I don't want to make him feel any worse than he probably already does for being the worst umpire.
For big calls, I don't mind it. Obviously, we saw a perfect game get ruined by human error so long ago in Detroit. But Galarraga and that thing
Jim
that
Joyce.
there. Yep. Right, exactly. So for big calls and things of such, I don't mind it, but I don't want an entire game being called by a robot squeezing these pitchers into these small boxes and turning the MLB into every other sport where we're just lighting the scoreboard up and nothing else matters.
It is pretty crazy when they show the box and they show the pitch come in and you can see it just taps the corner of that strike zone by a pubic hair and you're like, what the I can't believe that was a strike. It's
and that's one thing I can't fathom how this keeps happening. Like, how are umpires this fucking bad across the board?
Every sport,
everywhere, they are terrible. Like, how can you especially when something happens and you go to replay, and replay shows where it was, either safe or safe out, foul, whatever it is, foul, fair. And you go to review and you overturn the shit What?
I mean, there's an easy answer to that. Sports gambling is legal now in the United States.
I know. That's the thing. Like it amazes me when, like, especially like watching Yankee games. Right away, they got the instant view, boom, and they will zoom in on something.
I mean, what other explanation when some of the calls are as egregious as they are? It has to be pocket lining.
They were probably always that bad, but we didn't have a cool little box in the strike zone that shows you what the strike zone is, and we didn't have instant replays at second base to show the guy, lifting his hand up to do a swim slide to avoid a tag. He just would have been out. Like we didn't. I think technology is just showing us they've always been bad.
Technology, analytics.
Exactly. With the emergence of technology and having that in their back pocket to correct mistakes when they are, then you see the human element in play. Now, the only thing is, yes, we know every sport, the umpires are horrible. I've been lamenting on umpires, referees forever. Yeah. But a lot of times they don't invest in their own refereeing. Like these people are like, most of them they have second jobs as teachers and janitors and like garbage men. And I don't need like my garbage man that picks up my trash at 7 a.m. to be calling balls and strikes at 7 at night because his vision is probably a little off by that time.
They got a union. They should talk to their union about that then.
Just saying. Make them full-time refs. At least in the NFL, too. Because the NFL is only 16 weeks long, or 18 weeks long now. So at least make them full-time refs where you're paying them to not do anything else in the season but get calls right.
And another thing I want accountability in front of everybody. Like, how the players get interviewed after the game or have their little press conference? Have these umpires and referees sit up there and get drilled with questions. How can you blow this call? Why did you call this? Why did you call that? Put them up there and see what their fucking answer is to you.
Somebody look outside for dark clouds because it's crazy how much I'm feeling what a Yankee fan is saying right now. I've been saying this for years. Put them in front of the camera, make them answer for these calls sometimes. Have them do pressers too. We need answers sometimes.
Now, whether right or wrong, I want to hear from the horse's mouth. Okay, you made this call. Why?
That no call pass interference in that Saints guy. I know we're talking baseball. I'm sorry, but that was great when he just lays them out. Like, I'm just like, come on.
I can tell you exactly how that press conference would go from the other side. Just be like, talk about that play. Like, I thought he was safe.
Oh, we saw him review. We saw him review. He was out, but you called him safe.
He looked out.
Answer that.
I do like how they have ump scorecards, like the ones they post on Twitter, because those will really let you know how good the ump is. And we all know, I wasn't going to say his name earlier, but we just got to call him out. Angel Hernandez. All right, we all know who Angel Hernandez is and how horrible he is as an umpire, the worst in the league.
If you say who, you don't know baseball. Because his name is synonymous around.
He needs more training. Something needs to happen.
He's gone now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he retired last year.
Last year. Angel was out.
Yeah, he retired. But anyways, okay. All right, now that we all got that off of our chest, let's catch up on some comments here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, make sure you tap in with everybody here, I.O.W. Sports Network, the Rec Room, and here at Ball and Buds as well. We went through some of the comments earlier, but most of them had to do with the integrity of the game, being in only big calls. Let's see. Champ says, isn't there an baseball umpire school in Florida? I don't know that. That's a good question. Possibly. If there is, they need to do more OJT on the job training. Let's see what else we got. I missed this one, Mar, but I promise you when I'm out in Magic City, I will be getting some lemon pepper Lou wings. And by the way, when I actually looked up Magic City to find the directions, I looked up Magic City Gentlemen's Club, and it says Magic City Grill. So it really does consider itself a nice restaurant. I just like throw that out there, and I will be there. All right, anyways, keep it moving. Speaking of pitching, though, going into the All-Star game, right, we talked about the great pitchers that are out there. A lot of them are young. We're looking at these All-Star games, the influx of young talent, right? Now, this could be because a lot of the highest-paid players are not on the team this year, aside from Wheeler, Judge, and DeGrom, who are your 2, 3, and 4 highest paid players in the league. They are the only ones in there in the top 20. No one else is in there. So a lot of the high-profile players, including Soto, not in there. A lot of the young players being brought in as well. So what do we think about the in with the new, out with the old sort of thing? Could this just be injuries? Could it be related to economics? Could it just be related to slow starts for older players? Jersey boy, we're going to start for you. Give us your thoughts on the new versus old in this All-Star game.
Well, I'm an old school guy. So, I mean, I completely understand. Like, some of this young talent that is out there, if you watch them play, like I'm sure y'all have, they are like Paul Skeens. He is amazing, amazing to watch. Like you said, Tyreek Skubal, amazing to watch, and they're on the younger side. I mean, Skubal, I think, is in like his 5th season, I believe. Something like 5th, 6th season, something like that.
Something like that. Something in the 6th, 7th, yeah.
Yeah, Skeens is in number 2. I mean, and them two alone, with nobody else said, them two are just amazing to watch.
I don't know if you watched Mizorowski over there in Milwaukee the other night, but that kid is sensational. He can really bring it.
No, I did not.
I hate.
He beat your boy Clayton Kershaw. So since we were talking about Kershaw earlier, he matched up with him the other night and beat him 12K.
I hate seeing guys like that because I watch him and I'm like, man, he's just like a year away from Tommy John. These guys that are just throwing. Every time I see him, I can't get too excited because I'm like, man, I'm gonna get excited about this guy. And he's gonna blow his.
I mean, but listen, most guys come back stronger from Tommy John. I feel like we should just automatically Tommy John guys in their rookie years and just let them add a couple.
I'm surprised how many people are having him in high school now. Like if you watch the draft, they'll be like, yeah, this guy had Tommy John at sophomore.
It's happening in high school from bad parenting. Kids in Little League throwing curveballs is absolutely ridiculous. If a coach ever had my kid throwing curveballs at 12, we're fighting, period.
Didn't Clayton Kershaw have a teammate that was pretty good pitcher? Walker Buehler?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got about 4 of them right now that are pretty good pitchers.
Hey, Reece, how's he doing this year?
He's doing all right, you know. As far as playing, he's not playing baseball well, but I hear he's doing pretty well. You know, he's got millions of dollars, pretty wife, he's chilling.
Sure, he's doing okay as a person.
He's got a roof above his head and food on the table.
Listen, he's been terrible. I talked about him and Max Fried as 2 guys that I thought had a chance to maybe really do something on cheap price tags for the Yankees and Red Sox, and only your guy panned out. Our guy did not.
I tell you though, Walker Buehler, that was a good investment. He was a hell of a pitcher in LA. I was surprised.
And
LA
for the price, had he resorted back to 2021 Walker Buehler, who was winning World Series and a Cy Young candidate and all that, it would have been a steal. But it just sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Now, 21 of the All-Stars, Mike, are age 26 or younger. So that's a substantial amount of these players, almost half. What do you think about the young versus the out with the old and with the new?
This is going to be a crazy take, but I just think the young players are good. So call Stephen A. Smith.
Wow, what a take. Crazy.
Let it loose. Set the fire alarm off. Give me with the funk flex bombs. But yeah, I mean, we're just getting a lot of injured old players, a lot of the old guard, Goldschmidt and Arenado, and these guys are just getting old. It happens, right? And then in comes the new blood. It happens every year, just not to this extent. I mean, I saw the Cubs play the other day, and I was like, who the hell are all these good players? They have like 7 guys on their team. I was like, man, these guys are all really good. I remember it happening in the NBA. I remember that year Kobe was at the All-Star game, and you were just like, oh, it's different now. Things have changed. Yeah, that when you remember Iverson that first year when he
went up against
Jordan, you're like, oh, this is different. This is different now. We're not banging down low anymore, and John Stockton is not going to be taking anyone to the championship anymore.
All right, well, let's take a quick look at our All-Star selections. We are at least going to show the starters. We're not going to go through the whole roster. But there's your All-Star starters. So I'll start out with the thing that sticks out to me the most, and that's going to be the Big Dumper. Not because that's his nickname, but mostly so. I really do enjoy the fact that that's his nickname. But also because he tied up Ken Griffey Jr., with 35 home runs, the most for a Mariners player.
He's got 36 now.
of a season. Wow. Thank you, Jersey boy. Look at that correction. I appreciate that, brother.
Pretty
36 he passed. Ken Griffey Jr. for the first half record. Look at that insider information. That's my standout for the first half of the year. Jersey boy, what you got on these American National League starters? Any thoughts on any of these players?
All right, let me look at this and get a quick dive. All right, Cal Raleigh, excellent. O'Hearn at DH, maybe, I guess. He's a decent player. Vladdy at first. He ain't doing that all that good, is he?
Let me look.
He's doing good, but not like Vladdy numbers you expect.
Yeah, but again, like our boy on the left there, sorry, I don't remember everyone's names. I apologize, but he had a good take. First baseman is just a spot right now that's really lacking on a lot of ball clubs. There aren't a lot of great ones.
Gleyber Torres, he's trying to turn back the clock a little bit. Ramirez, I've always liked him. He's an excellent player.
Yeah, always a top 5 MVP candidate type guy.
Exactly. Yep. In here, yeah.
Yeah, then you see Javi Baez in the outfield, nonetheless.
Javi Baez, resurgent. Baez, rejuvenated. Any thoughts on the NL?
There's only one man that makes the team, and you know who it is.
Oh, yes.
Enough
said. We should have known that was coming.
I mean, he's the best player in all of baseball, and it's not even close. It's not close.
Mike, would you like to have a disagreement on that?
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
He's right.
Wait a second.
Yeah, Aaron Judge is the best player.
You are always caping for Shohei.
Until Shohei starts pitching again, Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball.
My God.
Dude's hitting like 360. I mean, he's got as many home runs as Cal Raleigh. He's hitting like 360.
Cal Raleigh's got him by 2. By 2.
Every time that man comes up against my team, I'm like, walk him. He's the only guy I've seen I want to give the Barry Bonds treatment to. Every time he comes to the plate, just get out of here. Go.
David Ray walked him tonight alone. Judge has walked twice.
It is amazing that man, a man that big, can hit, 350, almost 400 for a first half of a season, right, Reece?
Omar, I'll tell you a story. I saw him when he was in the minors. I watched the whole series here, 3 games, Aaron Judge, and he looked like a monster. Like nobody knew who he was, but he was just this mammoth in right field. I didn't see him touch a single ball the whole series. He went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, 3 games in a row.
Great. That is tremendous.
I was like, oh, this guy's going to be awful. And then he comes up to them and just boom. I don't know what turned on, but
flip the switch. Yeah, I love that. I love that story. You've told that story to me before. I love it. Yeah, because it's like, damn, you think this guy's going to suck, and all of a sudden you see him in the majors. He's blown up, and he's sucked in the minors.
It looked like if you gave Shaq a bat and put him in front of the plate, it was crazy. It looked ridiculous.
Reece, what are your thoughts on these teams here that you got in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're stacked, of course. Acuna is kind of strange just because he hasn't really played. I know he's one of the best in the game, but this is where we go back to taking up spots with, like, teams that shouldn't have someone. Well, at the same time, we have players that barely played that are in this game or that haven't been good enough to be in this game, like Kershaw. So sometimes that throws me off. But, I mean, listen, the AL to me is stacked. They have more pitching and they have the bigger bats. I think they win this game.
Now, I do want to say I agree with you on the Acuna thing. I have been lamenting that as well since he was injured most of the season. But I will say, since he's come back, he's batting like 350 with 9 home runs and like 1,100 OPS. So, he's at home. Let him have the spot. I'm not mad about it. The thing I'm more mad about, Mike, is that Freddie Freeman is getting a spot over Pete the Polar Bear Alonso when Polar Bear has a better stat line across the board.
Fan votes, man.
Yep.
Fan votes.
This is ridiculous.
So what happens when the fan vote thing.
Blame your fans that don't show up.
I know. I didn't vote either. Mike, what are your thoughts on these rosters?
I mean, they're great teams. I like the American League team to win just because I like the guys they have coming in off the bench. 6th inning, or just bringing Bobby Witt in as my backup shortstop. Like, their backup outfielders are just crazy, and it's going to be. I think it'll be an all-star.
Bobby Witt on the bench is wild to me considering the year he's having. That's crazy.
That's my best friend right there, Carlos. That's the one I told you who's a Met fan. We watched both games together.
Oh, my bad. I, again, am off on the comments. I apologize, y'all. I'm still trying to get used to Restream and noticing where the comments
What up,
are.
Low? Shout you out.
What up? Thank you for tuning in, brother. We appreciate you. Let me get caught up on these comments. My bad, y'all. Champ says, $1 billion business sports have these refs working 24-hour fitness trainer during the day, referees at night. Yep, exactly what happened. Skeens is that dude. Just hope he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Kids having Tommy John surgery is ridiculous. Blame the parents.
I said that.
You did. PCA is a player. Now I'm going to say this. I'm a Mets fan, so PCA will be the bane of my existence going forward as the Mets decided to trade him for 1 year of roided out Robinson Cano, and I will never ever forgive them for that. And now we have given up an MVP in PCA, a future MVP, and I'm very sad. That being said, all right, well, look, I missed this one, Mar. That's great. You already know. Wings and cheeks, baby. Wings and cheeks. And there's a bunch of breweries in Atlanta. So you know I'm going to be getting me some brew in the system as well. All right, cool. Got through the comments. All right, so actually we went through all of the players there for the All-Star game. Let's move into the Home Run Derby, pick our winners. So for the Home Run Derby, where did I put that at? Hold on, let me get my link up. There it is. All right, so last year from the Derby in Texas, actually this event gets a lot of viewers to what MJ was saying earlier. Even on national TV, they averaged 5.5 million viewers last year, and that was
Partly it's on a Monday night. There's nothing else to do Monday night, guys, outside of football season. Come on.
It's a very good point. Very good point. I'm just trying to give them some
Hey,
hype.
like I said, I had a lot of fun. I love the Derby, but
All right, so let's go. Ronald Acuna, the aforementioned. He's up in there again. He came back from injury, so he only has 9 home runs, but he's been on a tear. Cal Raleigh, 36 home runs. How about James Wood from the Nationals, the Rook, in there with 23 home runs? You also got Byron Buxton, back from injury all those years, 20 home runs on the season to start. O'Neal Cruz, 16 home runs to start. Junior Caminero, the star for the Rays, 21. Mr. Bat Flip, 800 feet in the air. All right, so let's go around the horn. Who do we think is going to win out of those people? Mike, let's go ahead and start with you.
I'm gonna take the guy I think is the next Aaron Judge, and that's James Wood. That dude is just got
bite your tongue. Bite your tongue.
He just throws the bat at the ball and it goes flying. So if I had to pick, it'd be James Wood. But I think sleeper, if you're going to Vegas, put that money on O'Neal Cruz because that dude does nothing.
That's some bitch can hit. He misses.
That's my pick. It's crazy you mentioned him. He is absolutely my pick in this thing.
Yeah.
He hits bombs. I mean, shots that you just don't see often. I like him in this. Or Acuna at home.
That's what I was just going to say. That I like everybody's picks, but him coming back from the injury, being in his home city that he plays for, I just think he is just going to step up and be like, you know what? I'm going to smack you in the face. This is what I could do. Here it is for everybody to see. If you ain't been following me, watch what I do during this derby because I do this all year long when I'm healthy.
That was so perfect how around the horn that went. Everybody's pick off the other. That makes me laugh. But I'm going to actually go back to what y'all were talking about in the middle and Reese's pick. I had O'Neal Cruz, and not only do I not necessarily he's going to win. I'm not. That's fine. I think he is the underdog, and he has a good chance. If I were really to pick based off logic, it would be the Acuna pick because he's at home, so he already knows the ballpark. But my prediction is you better watch out for O'Neal Cruz possibly breaking, Mickey Mantle's record and hitting a ball 508,000 feet out into the air. Sorry, Jersey boy.
O'Neal Cruz is about to do very similar to what Mark McGwire did at Fenway Park when he was hitting balls completely out of the stadium.
They played in that wind tunnel that Tampa Bay is playing in right now. Bananas. So, might as well put the ball on a tee for him.
All right, so there you go. You got one for James Wood, the 6'7", 22-year-old rookie crushing things in D.C. You got 2 for O'Neal Cruz, although we both hedged on you probably want to go with Acuna at home. And then you got Jersey Boy. Jersey Boy, who'd you go with?
I'm going with Acuna, but watch out for Cal Raleigh. I like this kid. I'm watching him. I'm watching him right now. He's playing in Seattle with against the Yankees. So
There you go.
He is going to be a problem going forward.
So if you're looking at votes, you should be going with either Acuna or Neil Cruz if you're looking at the votes of the panel. All right, cool. Let's keep it moving. Now that we're through the All-Star break, we are through the All-Star game, and now we're moving into the second half of the season. Let's look at the actual. I want to talk about a couple of things a couple of stories that are standing out there for the second half, and then we'll get into our predictions to finish off the show. So first of all, I wanted to point out that shutouts. After having a resurgent of, you remember, it was like we couldn't stop the offense, and this happens in baseball. It fluctuates. It's offense, and then they try to adjust, and then it's more on the pitching, and then they adjust, and it goes. But this year, we are on a streak of shutouts. The current record of shutouts in a single year is 359, which was the dead ball era of 1915. This year, we are on pace to break that record with 365 shutouts. That being said, a lot of these players a lot of these pitchers that are pitching very well are not necessarily getting the win totals to back them up. We've seen this argument over the years. Win totals versus supporting metrics. How should that work when deciding player awards and things like that? But we are obviously seeing a resurgence in pitching. So, Reece, start us off here. How does that resurgence in pitching going to correlate with postseason baseball in the second half?
I mean, obviously, pitching wins championships. That's not going to change anytime soon. But what's incredible right now is that we have a bunch of guys basically doing what Pedro was doing at the peak of Pedro time, and Pedro's the greatest pitcher of all time. We can argue that another time, but just because of the era that he did it, anyway.
That's a good choice. I'm not going to say
when you're talking about sub-2 ERAs, that's ridiculous. And right now, there's like 3 or 4 guys that are right there, basically teetering with 2 or below. So I mean, we're in a great era of pitching. Also, in part, we're in an era where guys don't care about striking out. There's less balls in play. Guys are just swinging crazy for the fences. So it's a different time, and I think that definitely helps.
Yeah. Okay.
I always say play small ball. Got to play small ball. And what we were talking about with the pitching, look at Paul Skeens this year, right? As filthy as he's 4-7 with a 1.94 ERA.
You feel bad for a guy who goes home to Livy Dunn every night?
Woo! She's from Jersey.
I'm just saying. I have a hard time feeling bad for Paul Skeens. He's going to get an $800 million contract, and that's his girl. He'll be all right.
No, I'm not. I'm saying we're just saying, like, as a team, like as a pitcher, you look at his numbers, and they don't compare to how good he is. Being 4-7 is showing you he's not getting no run support around him, especially when his ERA is 1.94. Right there is telling you, like, your team ain't doing shit for you.
Do you think it'll hurt him in the Cy Young race?
No.
That's what I was going to ask.
No.
There you go.
Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad.
No. I appreciate that. I love when we have good flowing conversation. No, that's what I was going to ask, though. How does that affect the Cy Young voting? Because this year, all of the pitchers have subpar records. And this goes back to, like, when DeGrom won, I remember a few years ago, and had, like, 10 wins and 13 losses. Paul Skeens could win with, like, a 5-10 record. So, like, how do we see this affecting Cy Young voting going forward? Jersey, you keep going.
To me, you look at the body of work. You can't just pinpoint like a couple starts. You look at his whole body during the season. If his ERA is under 2, how can you not have him in that talk? It don't matter what the record is. He's doing his part. You know what I mean? He's not batting 1 through 9. I mean, he's just out there doing his job as a pitcher. And if he's out there giving up 2 runs or less, and you're losing, that ain't your fault. So you got
to bolt off of his point there. MVP is different because that's the most valuable player, as in the player that brings the most value. Cy Young is just simply the best pitcher in baseball.
Well, I mean,
Cy Young, lowest ERA, lead the league in Ks, etc. I just don't think they can take that thing from you.
Okay. Because it used to be, though, in the Cy, and that's what I meant. Thank you for that. I meant Cy Young if I said MVP. But back in the day in the Cy Young voting, the starting basis of it, Mike, was based on a win-loss record. But it seems now that pitchers don't go longer than 5 innings.
I honestly used to feel like it was an ERA record because it felt like the lower ERA tended to win back then. But now there's so many different metrics. They've added all these crazy metrics to WHIP now and all this K pretend. So there's just so many different things that play in a part that if Paul Skeens has all the best numbers across the board, even with 5-6 wins, you can't rob that kid. I mean,
just like my friend Carlos said, that was DeGrom's career as a Met. I mean, he was filthy on the mound, absolutely filthy, but he couldn't get that support around him.
Yep. No, I remember. Every night he'd go out, Mike. He'd pitch 5 innings, 6, 7 innings of shutout ball. The Mets would get 1 run or 0 runs. I'd be going off to bed pissed off. What do you got?
I mean, there's some guys right now that are pitching very well that have kind of records like that, like Seth Lugo or you know what I mean, that have very good ERAs and they're not really winning as much. So that's just.
But the reason I bring this up though is going back to your point. The first 40 full seasons that the Cy Young existed, the average win-loss record was 21-8, and no starter won the award in a full season, winning less than 18 games until your aforementioned Pedro Martinez season when he went 17-8 with the Expos. Then we saw Felix Hernandez come along, 13-12, he won the Cy Young. Then you see Jacob deGrom, 8-12, he wins. So it's like, it's just getting more and more to the point where you're right. Supporting metrics is what we have to look at, because obviously with pitchers only going 5 innings or less, wins and losses don't necessarily count too much anymore.
I think it will. Like at the end of the day, if it comes down to it, Paul Skeens is doing great, but Logan Webb is close and they make the playoffs, then I think Logan Webb is going to take it, right? I think there is some value in, your team lost 94 games. If it's close, you don't get to win. But
if it's close, for sure. But I just mean if one guy just completely dominates all the stats, you can't take it from. Now, obviously,
and like Reece, if it comes down
guys
to
like Keeler and Boyd,
make the playoffs,
they have advantages because their teams are more successful.
Yeah, and if Reece, if it comes down to the end of the year and the Red Sox end up making the playoffs, and Crochet's your only pitcher, and he leads the league in strikeouts like he does now, and he's close with everything else, I think it'll be tough to just hand it back to Scooble again if it's close.
I just don't think anyone's going to be close to Scoobs. I mean, if you look at his K to walk ratio, it's 11-1 right now. That's absolutely absurd with a sub-2 ERA and all that. I mean, the guy's ridiculous. He's by far the best pitcher in the league right now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jersey boy. Huh?
No, I can agree. Yeah, he's definitely the top of the top right now.
Right now,
yeah.
Right now, yeah, absolutely.
By far, defending Cy Young winner in the best team in the league. So definitely that is the case for him. So while we're there,
it's gonna be hard to dethrone him. You really got to bring it to dethrone him.
Yeah. So while we're there, because I know Mike has to get off here in a couple minutes. We'll continue with the conversation after Mike gets off, but let's go ahead and go around the horn and get everybody's picks for your MVP, Cy Young, and World Series matchup and winner. So, Mike, since you have to get out of here, we'll start with you first. What do you got for your picks here? We'll start on the let's start on the AL side for yours.
Yeah, Judge and Ohtani still.
Judge and Ohtani for your MVP.
MVPs. Because Ohtani's going to be pitching again. I don't see any reason that it would go to anybody else. I have a feeling that we're all going to kind of have very similar Scooble, Cy Young in the American League. Zach Wheeler, I think, will probably pull it off in the National League just because I think his team is going to be a lot better, and he's the ace on the one of the best teams in the league.
Wheeler's got a 2.17 ERA.
Ooh,
yeah, he's great. Yep. He's great. And no, sorry, Omar, I don't mean to put that.
Yeah, we traded him away too. We traded everybody.
And the World Series, I still the same World Series that I wanted to see in the beginning of the year. I know they're not doing well right now, but I still think we're going to see Texas and the Dodgers in the World Series. I still think the teams that have the most depth with the best pitchers are, at the end of the day in those short series, are going to make it out.
All right, there you go. Awesome. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate that. And I know you got to get out of here.
Good meeting you, man. It was nice talking with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you, my man.
Hey, brother. Thank you so much as always. Appreciate you. That's my. You already know him. That's Mike Wiebe. He's been like I said. He's been on every single baseball podcast or live stream I've ever done. So it was my first MLB insider. Will always be my original, but I love having new voices on. So we're gonna keep this moving with the rest of the crew. Jersey boy, what are your picks for MVP, Cy Young, and the World Series?
MVPs. Right now, Judge is MVP. Not even a question.
Okay.
National League MVP. I'm not an Ohtani fan. I ain't giving him shit.
You're not an Ohtani fan. Like, you just don't like him at all? Or,
No.
how can you not be a fan?
He gets too much talk.
Come on.
Listen,
He's
hear me
great.
out. Hear me out. They're trying to make him the face of baseball to reel in Japanese, endorsements, Japanese viewers, money, all sorts of shit. What does the guy do? He is a glorified David Ortiz. He don't play the field. He sits on his ass all game long.
Wow.
All you gotta do is just get up there and swing.
What the hell did David Ortiz steal 50 bases? I'm a David Ortiz fan. He never stole the bases. He never pitched. He never did anything Ohtani did.
What is Ohtani doing?
Hitting the ball out of the park, stealing bases, hitting for average, and soon he'll be dominating on the mound as well.
He won't be dominating shit on the mound because he's gonna blow his elbow out again.
Oh, God.
You watch. Dodgers are gonna have him close. He's not gonna be starting for the Dodgers.
And that would be crazy if they did it. Could you imagine 50 home runs, 50 steals, and 40 saves? Who's ever done anything like that?
That would be crazy as shit, though.
I'm not an Ohtani fan. I personally, the way things are shaping out, you could go and you'll like this, Omar, because you could look at Pete. You can look at Petey, as an NL MVP. Don't sleep on who's the other fucking guy I was thinking of. Don't sleep on Trey Turner. Don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on Eugenio Suarez.
Suarez from Arizona.
Yeah.
From Arizona,
yeah. Yep.
Henderson, you're right about that, Carlos. You're right. Henderson would steal 300 damn steals.
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing. They don't, when Ohtani's on first base, they don't guard him at first. They let him take a walk towards second. They're not even holding him on. And the base is, the size of my kitchen table, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Like that's, and then the throw overs. You can only throw over 3 times. If you don't pick him off, he takes second. That's bullshit.
It's really easy. It is really easy.
So of course Ohtani's gonna look like. Let me ask you a question. Why? Last year when he hit that 50th home run, why is that ball worth so much? Because he hit 50 home runs? Big fucking deal.
Well, because it was 50-50 or 50.
Big deal.
Whatever.
Why didn't they sell the base then? The 50th base he stole, how come that wasn't a big talk? But that home run, everybody was jumping on that home run ball. It ain't the first time. Shit, he didn't even lead the league in home runs last year. So he gets too much talk and just too much of the special treatment. He's not even the best player on his team.
Oh my God.
You heard me. And
I cannot agree with that.
You know where I'm going with this, Reece? Who's better than him on the Dodgers?
Mookie Betts.
That's one of them.
I knew you were going to say. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course,
he's
you can
great.
argue.
Sure, yeah.
Of course, you can argue Mookie. He's one of the top 10, top 5 players in baseball for the last 5-6 years.
I think Freddie Freeman is better than him. Because Ohtani don't do shit. He's a DH. He's a DH.
He's a pitcher too, but I feel you.
That's crazy.
He ain't that much of a pitcher.
I must correct myself. He didn't have 50 steals. He had 48 last year.
Yeah, it was 52 homers and like 48 steals or something like that.
So he didn't get there, but he was close enough. And I'm sorry. I don't care if you're only DHing.
There's never been a 50-50 guy in baseball until he came around. Barry Bonds 40-40 was like unheard of.
Because the rules have changed for him. If you take Ohtani and you put him in 1995, is he getting 50-50? Absolutely not.
Why not?
That's a good question.
Different era, different play of
First
games.
off, if he played in that era, he would have been on steroids, so he'd probably hit more home runs.
More home runs, less stolen bases. That's what I think.
But they would have swept that one under the rug. Oh, he's not on steroids, just like he wasn't gambling. We're going to sweep this under the rug. You're going to tell me millions of dollars missing from your account that was wired.
I mean, they sent a guy to jail for that, so I'm going to let the courts handle that. According to them, it was him, so
He did.
I'll do conspiracy theories.
He was gambling. You can't change my mind. He was gambling. No, he was gambling. But no, he like I said, he's a glorified DH. That's
So
all he
who
is.
is your NL MVP though? Have you said yet or?
My NL MVP right now, I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna have to say Pete Alonso.
Wow.
If he keeps
Big
doing what he's
Pete,
doing,
the polar bear, baby.
if if he could bring that average up a little bit and just keep doing, he could. I don't know about Frankie over there. Juan Soto, no.
Listen, Juan Soto heated up
Yeah.
in June. In June, he got scorching hot, and if he has a second half like that, don't sleep on the man. We know what he can do.
He will. He will.
Remember, hitters get better when it gets warmer. August is a hitter's month.
Yeah, and he won National League Player of the Month in June. He will be great going forward. I'm not worried about him at all. Jersey, but what's your World Series pick? I know it's Yankees and somebody.
Why would you think the Yankees?
Oh, why not?
I'll tell you what. I mean,
Yankees versus who?
No, I'm saying if they play like this going forward, Yankees won't make the series. They don't have a deep enough team to overcome.
Wow.
They got a lot of injuries.
Okay.
Yankees got a lot of injuries. I mean, they're good, but I don't think they're on the same level to win a World Series. They need some more pieces.
Wow.
You know,
I did not expect that at all. Okay.
I mean, but I will take them out of the American League because I think they're going to take, things are going to change. Trade deadline, that's going to tell you all. If they sit and don't do nothing, they ain't going to do shit this year. So I'm going with them. National League. National League is a little tough because I don't think the Dodgers. I won't pick them. I just can't. National League, I'm looking at. You know who really could do it? Chicago.
Who's that?
The Cubs.
Ooh, I like that pick.
I would love to see the Cubs back in it.
Hey, listen, they got the GM of the year right now. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, Reece, what are your MVP, Cy Young, and World Series picks?
Oh yeah, my Cy Youngs.
Shit, go ahead.
Cy Youngs is easy. That's Skeens and Scooble.
Skeens and Scooble. All right, cool. Reece?
Max Fried could be a good runner, but Scooble's got to be. You got to really top that man. It's going to be hard to do.
I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. Barring injury, I just don't see anyone catching him.
No.
Cool. Who you got, Reece?
A little ESPN app. Some of these ESPN apps going on.
That's the Yankees. They're up 9-6 over Seattle.
Okay, there you go. All right, so MVP.
Judge got 2 more RBIs.
I'm not going to harbor whatever animosity this guy's still holding from 1941 against O'Hanty. Bottom line is he's going to win the MVP in the National League. In the American League, barring injury, Aaron Judge is the clear-cut guy. There just isn't a better hitter in the American League, in baseball, period, but definitely not in the American League. Cy Young gets interesting. I think Scoobs is definitely the guy in the AL. I've already told you. Barring injury, I don't think there's anything like him. There's a couple guys who you could kind of say have an outside shot with Brown at Houston and maybe even Jacob deGrom over there in Texas, but I think it's going to be Tariq Scooball. In the National League, I like Zach Wheeler. I think Zach Wheeler is the best pitcher from the beginning to now, and I think he will continue to be in the second half of the year. There's a couple guys in the NL. Obviously, Skeens is going to be in it till the end, but I don't think he'll win enough, and I think the frustration could build. You can only lose 1-0 so many times before eventually you just can't focus. You know what I mean? So I think he tails a little bit. Obviously, Boyd's having a great year, and there's some guys, but I'm going to go with Zach Wheeler over there. I already said MVPs, right? And then World Series. World Series is so tough. There isn't a team that just completely is standing out, blowing everyone away. I think there's a bunch of teams that definitely are in it, and obviously the trade deadline is going to change a lot of things from now till then. So it's hard to say, but I like the Tigers the most in the American League. If not the Tigers, I'm going with Houston or Seattle. I know it's funny, but these 3 teams have one thing in common. They are the only teams in the American League with a winning record on the road. And at some point, you're going to have to win road games in the playoffs unless you get home field advantage, and only one team can do that. So those 3 teams are the teams in the American League I like. But like I said, I like Detroit. That's going to be my pick for now. They've got the pitching. They've got the hitting. In the NL, man, it gets really tough. It really does. Of course, everyone just wants to say the Dodgers because they're the team, but I'm going to go. I'm not going to lie. I have to agree with my guy here. I think the Cubs are probably the most complete team. I think he's winning GM of the year over there. I think he's put together just a master class. Obviously, the Dodgers have kind
And
of tailed a
picking up
little bit.
Tucker. And picking up Tucker.
Right. And again, like I said with teams in the AL,
Don't say he like you don't know his name. Don't say he like you don't know his name. You know his name. You know his name. Don't try to just skip by with he. Like you ain't have him for 15 years. Like you ain't love him like a daddy for 15. Get out of here.
Listen, and another thing, like I was talking about with the Cubs, like I was talking about those American League teams, the Cubs also have a winning record on the road, and I think that's going to really matter. Along with pitching, being able to win on the road, there's only a few teams in the NL, just like there's only a few teams in the AL. It's the Cubs, it's the Dodgers, it's the Phillies. So it's going to be one of those three teams that give me the Cubbies.
You wouldn't even think about a Subway Series?
I don't listen. No offense to the Mets, you saw what happened in June where they just kind of like self-destructed and just went completely terrible at the end of that month. I know they've turned it around. They've won their first two series in July, and that's all great. But they're the Mets. They find ways to fall at the end. I don't know what it is. This team will lead you on more than a stripper on a Friday night.
That's what my man Carlos knows. Because he hasn't had a chance to see them win. So all he knows is the big up and then the huge letdown. You're up.
Listen, I've seen the Mets blow a 9-game lead with like 2 weeks to go in a season. So, I mean, yeah, exactly. They're just known for these kind of things. I don't know what it is exactly in the culture. For you, Omar, I hope that changes this year. Maybe they can make a run. Maybe they make a move. I don't know. But like I said, I just don't trust them when it matters. It's just that simple. They're a great team, but I don't trust them when it matters.
It's the borough that they play in.
And also, they have a losing record on the road. Again, they're not going to have home field advantage. So if you're not going to win on the road, you're just not going to contend. Sorry.
I'm going to skip Jersey Boy's comment about New York versus New Jersey because I have no say in that as I have never lived in either place. But I'm sure a lot of New York people will have a lot of problems with what Jersey Boy just said, especially the people in Queens. Shout out to all my Mets fans and Puerto Ricans hanging out in Queens.
You got Queens, and then you got the Yankees that are the kings.
All right, look,
Bronx is the king of New York.
I know who the little brothers are in terms of baseball.
BX would be next, baby. That's what they say.
I'm a Wu-Tang head, so I'm going to go with Staten Island, but I don't know. I have no clue. I've never lived in New York.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm going Yonkers because I'm a D-Block guy.
Hey.
Yo, Jada, as my boy Carlos knows, Jada Kiss is one of my favorite rappers.
Jada Styles, I grew up on all. Those were my guys.
When he says top 5 DOA, he ain't wrong.
He ain't wrong. Yeah, you ain't lying.
Love it. All right, cool. Well, let me go ahead and finish out this stream for us with my picks. I'm going with the boys in the MVP race the Cy Young race on the AL side. It's pretty cut and simple. Tarek Skubal is amazing, and he's only getting better in his past 8 games. He has like a 0.61 ERA, which is just crazy because it's like, damn, you were good at the beginning of the season, and you're just even better at midseason.
His ERA right now is 2.02.
Yeah, there you go. So nothing there. The talk between the Cy Young and the NL, we're looking at Skeens versus Wheeler there pretty much. And I agree with Reece again on this one. I think Wheeler has been the best pitcher all season. He just threw a 1-hitter yesterday, so he's on track to. It was like a 8K. It was 12K, 8-inning, 1-hit shutout. The first Phillies player to do that in forever. So I got Wheeler in the NL Cy Young.
Yeah, Wheeler's got a 2.17 ERA.
Woo! So look at that. There you go there. So I'll take him there, but I would not be mad if Skeens wins, especially because
he also has the lowest ERA in baseball at 0.81, just saying. The lowest whip. The lowest whip, Zach Wheeler, 0.81.
Oh, whip. Okay.
Yeah, whip. It's Wheeler and Skubals in the 2 leagues that are just dominating those stats. Like I said, their Ks to walks, their Ks per 9, and their whips are incredible.
Okay, word. There you go. All right, cool. And then for my MVPs, I would go with Judge because obviously the way you start that season, he still has a 1210 OPS halfway through the season. He's still hitting 360. It's not like he's not the league leader in the clubhouse. I get it. But what I am going to say is before the season, I picked Bobby Witt Jr. Now, is Bobby Witt Jr. having as good as a season as I thought he was going to have? Is he having as great as a season as maybe I want? No, but he's still an all-star. He's still playing very well, and I don't like to go back on my picks when there's still a chance, and there is still a chance. If Judge were to get injured, God forbid, even though I hate the Yankees, if he were to get injured and not play for 3 months, Witt could easily take that.
Judge gets injured, Cal Raleigh wins that award. We haven't seen a catcher do anything like this since Mike Piazza. It's insane.
I just don't want to say Judge, okay? Leave me alone. I just don't want to say a damn Yankee.
Oh, do you want me to go in my room and grab the Judge out of my closet?
No, please do not. Anyways.
You want me to get the Jeter?
No, I do not
want to get the Mariano?
No, please.
How about the Babe Ruth?
Don't keep doing this to me.
I'm wearing the Garrett, the manager. Hold on, I got Mantle, Thurman Munson.
Here we go.
Paul O'Neill, Don Mattingly.
No. Thank you. No,
yeah, I got them all.
I appreciate the offer. Disgusting. For my NL MVP,
next year there'll be 2 New Jerseys out here.
Okay. For my NL MVP, I'm going to do similar. I'm going to make the same argument here. I picked Juan Soto before the season started, and he had a horrible start to the season. Let's just say that. Very slow. But every person that comes to New York pretty much does this, and especially with the Mets. And Juan Soto won NL Player of the Month for June, and he's on a tear, and he's still in the top 15 in all measurable statistics, even with the first half that he had, because most people would love to have his first half. So even though I know Ohtani is the leader in the clubhouse, since I picked Soto before the season, I will stay with him because he still has a chance if he has a really great second half and continues. For my World Series, I had at the beginning of the year, I was up in the air between the Dodgers and Mets. I couldn't choose, but I went with the Dodgers just because of what happened last year. And I had a combination.
You know what kind of team you got over there in Queens. That's why.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure.
They're not as good.
Hold on a second. I'm not done yet. I'm about to tell you what I really think, though. In the AL, I had the Rangers and Red Sox as my 2 at the beginning of the season, with the Orioles as a third. Looking back on that, that was a horrible third choice there, as they have done horribly. I think the Red Sox have fallen off too, so I can't really go with them. The Rangers, as Mike mentioned earlier, the underlying metrics are there, but I'm not going to do that either. No, I'm going with the homer pick of my Mets, and yeah, I want to see the Subway Series so I can be there live. I'm going with the Subway Series, Mets versus Yankees.
I'll make you guys a promise. If it's Mets, Yankees in the World Series, I will go to one of those games decked out in Red Sox gear.
Hey, maybe the 3 of us can make a trip and we'll be the Mets, Red Sox, Yankees.
You guys don't want to be with me when those shots start blazing and the knives come out. Trust me, just get out the way, boys. I'll take this.
I want to ask you a question.
That's great.
Have you ever showed up to the Bronx wearing your Boston garb?
Ooh. It's actually funny you say that because it is a dream of mine, and the caveat to that is that I do fear I probably lose my life that day.
Oh, so you would, definitely.
Right. I mean, we've seen what happened at Dodger Stadium with the Giants fan, and it got completely impaled over there. So I already know going to New York, especially I'm a shit talker. I'm scared of anything. I'm trying to talk my stuff.
Trust me when I tell you, you come to Subway Series, just Subway Series alone, wearing the Boston garb, yeah, you in trouble. You're going to get spit on. You're going to get shit talked. You're going to get food thrown on you.
Maybe if I wear a Buckner jersey, the Mets fans will feel bad for me or something, you know?
But you walk into Yankee Stadium wearing Boston, you're in trouble.
Hey, I never said I would go to Yankee Stadium. I said I'd go to the Subway Series. I could go over there. Hey, I'm just saying.
He said wearing the
City Field. He said you go to Fifth City Field.
He said I'll wear the Buckner. That's fucking great.
I mean, the only place that I have ever felt safe wearing a different jersey, and shout out to our brother Wildcard Mar, who's been tuned in the whole time, is when I went as a Raiders fan to Kansas City for a December Christmas game, and I talked so much shit to the Kansas City fans, but them people are so damn nice. They just no-sold me and were just like, hey, great game. Would you like barbecue after? And I was like, no, I'm telling you, you fucking suck. But they were so nice, I couldn't even be mad.
I know enough to pay respect where it's due. My favorite time in Miami used to be wearing my patch jerseys at Dolphins games. And I got jumped plenty of times. I got a garbage can thrown at me. I got all kinds of things. But New York is different. New York is the zoo, and I already know it's a good chance I don't come out of there with my teeth or my health or my life.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
we'll see. But maybe if I'm hanging out with you two studs, I'll give it a shot.
Listen, I would have your back. You would not get killed. No.
I appreciate that.
And I would never let somebody put harm to you, and I sit there and watch.
I appreciate that. I mean, listen, I don't mind some shit talking or even like a little scrap or something. I just don't want to get stabbed over, two ball teams that don't give a fuck about us at the end of the day.
Listen, I got dragged out of your stadium. Mr. Fenway, I got taken out of there with another Yankee fan. Yeah. You think New Yorkers are? Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not scared. I kind of have some things I want to do before I die, so I'm waiting a little bit. I do want to go to Yankee Stadium decked in Sox gear. I think that would be an experience in itself.
Yeah, okay.
You better sit like the upper deck. Sit in the upper deck, last row.
I'm gonna sit on the lights.
Yep.
And I'm still gonna have my Teflon on just in case.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good idea. And again, if you decide to go there, I do not know anyone in New York. I cannot help you. I'll try to jump in and stop them, but there's not really much I can do. That being said, thank y'all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Shout out to my brothers for joining me. Obviously, you can catch the Lion, Reece, Penn. He is from the Rec Room. My brother, tell them where they can find you.
You already know, man. Lion the Animal 19 on IG, the Rec Room at YouTube. I mean, it's all the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, please.
Hey, it was really good meeting you, my friend, Jersey boy. It was cool. I always like chopping it up with Yankee fans or just people that have different opinions in general. This was fun.
And the thing is, like, I could talk to you as a baseball fan because you know what I'm talking about. I know what you're talking about. You root for who you do. I feel bad for you, but I root for I do.
You want to hear a little secret? I'll go ahead and spill it on this. For 20 years, my favorite player in the game, and I hate saying this, was Derek Jeter.
No.
Derek Jeter was how could you not love that guy? He was
as much as I hated
Get the hell out of what the fuck is a
as much as I hated Pedro, Pedro was a fucking stud. As much as I couldn't stand
Hey, I was like, he kicked me out.
I should have left you out for that comment. What the fuck?
Come on, bro. That catch against us, diving into the stands first.
I hate Jeter. If there's a person on earth I hate, it's Tom Brady and Derek Jeter. Both of those.
Why do people hate greatness? I don't understand that.
I'm not a Tom Brady fan either. I hate the fucking Patriots. Yeah. My boy Eli beat Tom twice, so I'm good with that.
Well, he did.
But
Jersey boy MJ, you're repping the I.O.W. Sports Network, my brother. Tell them where they can find you and your crew.
You can always find me floating around on I.O.W. Sports. Absolutely. I'm on what am I on? I'm on IG, Jersey Boy MJ. I am on, I guess, Twitter, X, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm. X.
Yeah, Jersey Boy MJ. Yeah, I'm always accessible. I'm always here to talk, jump in live, do what we got to do, chop the shit up. I'm just.
You said IG. It's Jersey Boy MJ.
Yes, sir.
I got you when I get out of here.
Just pull.
There you go. Hey, making connections, and again, don't forget, like you said. Tap in with I.O.W. Sports Network. They are our family here. Wildcard Mar, Detroit Mel, Nick, and the boys. They are our family here at Ball and Bud. So please tap in on YouTube. I.O.W. Sports Network. It's actually I.O.W. Network 4035 on YouTube. I only know because the amount of times I've done work with them and haven't to go back. I know that. And as well, the Rec Room for Reece on YouTube. So please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channels as we are all trying to grow. And as well, support Ball and Buzz. There's a handy QR code up there at the top on the overlay. Go ahead and scan that. That'll take you to our link tree. You can subscribe to our YouTube, follow our Instagram, follow Clubber D's new YouTube, all those good things. So do that. Hit the like, whether you're watching live now or on the replay. It helps us either way. It will boost us up in the algorithm. So please give us that help as we love you fans and love the support. Other than that, hey, I'm going to give these two boys a shout out to give them let them give a shout out for us to get out of here. Jersey boy, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is, if y'all knew how far I've had to come to get to this point in my life to be able to do this again, it is a pleasure. I'm thankful to be alive. I have what's called a traumatic brain injury. I had 2 brain surgeries, and I had to learn how to reboot a lot of things in life: walking, talking, chewing, swallowing. I still have a lot of deficiencies, but I am trying to gain it back one day at a
None
time.
of them are showing, my friend. Congrats, I'm coming back. None of them are showing.
No, not at all.
If you saw the scar on my head, you'd be like, "Oh shit." 15.
Listen, I kind of get that. I was paralyzed a couple years ago. I had to have cervical spine surgery, so I get it, man. But listen, you look good. You're doing well. You're blessed. Oh wow!
Wow. Yeah.
That's,
The surgeon literally had to take my skull out on this side and put it back in months later. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. I love having Jersey Boy MJ on because the first time that I started streaming with Let's Talk Sports and I got with Wild Mar, I started watching the I.O.W. network. One of the first people I saw on the show was Wild Mar and MJ doing his new baseball show. And then unfortunately, just 2 days later, he had his injury right after starting his new baseball show. And unfortunately was out for a while, but I am so happy that you're back and I'm so happy that you were able to join us. I'm definitely going to have you on more. And as Reece said, you're the same, at least streaming wise, personality and everything, knowledge and everything that you were before that. So, as I mentioned, we hadn't met before this, but I've always been supporting you from the background. And I think that the story that you have to tell is very powerful. And it's amazing when you see people keep fighting in their life at the most dire times. So,
man, if I gave the details, this shit would literally blow your mind. It would blow your mind when I told you what I had to go through. But I tell people this all the time. Like, just imagine, I said, I had my surgeon touch my brain twice. Move it back. He had to move it from right back to the center. And then the second surgery, he had to lift part of my brain back up and then put the skull back in. So that's why I wear my ribbon every day. This is brain injury awareness ribbon. I also have it. I can't even see my fucking light. I have a green ribbon right here. You just
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's this is gonna be a lifelong battle. I go to therapy every day, Monday through Friday. That's all I got. So trying to get back into this, like this, when you reached out to me today, I was like, absolutely. Like I told you, absolutely. I love to chop up base. My favorite sport. I will chop it up any day, anytime.
There's not many of us, my friend. I feel like baseball kind of fell. So to hear another person say baseball is their sport, it's definitely mine too. So salute to that.
I'm 45. I've been a baseball fan at least 40 years.
There you go.
And I'm I'm an avid Yankee fan, but I can watch any two team play. It don't have to be Yankees. It really doesn't.
Yeah, well,
let's be honest. Everyone knows baseball's its best when our two teams are good and we're competing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, all three of our teams, because the New York area, that market alone, I tell you what, like if you're up here, talk radio, like the Mets fans are melting. They're melting on talk radio. It's unbelievable. It's like the sky is falling, like the season's over. Like,
what
the fuck, July just started, like, and you're really giving up? Yeah, they're.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, hey, again, it was such a pleasure to have you on, and now that we have this good crew, I felt like the chemistry was really good today. I've been looking for a baseball crew going forward, so we'll go ahead and try to do this every couple weeks then, going forward in the second half if y'all are down.
Also, enjoy the hell out of the All-Star game, my friend. Like I said, I've done it once. It's a phenomenal experience. We were talking a lot of stats. Here's a stat for you to kind of cue off the end of the show, but
yes.
You're a handsome man, and Atlanta has the highest population of gay black males in the country. So you have yourself a time, my friend.
Well, first of all, I appreciate the comment. Pause.
Hey, if you hit the Coke factory, bring me back something. I'm a huge Coke fan.
Coca-Cola?
Yeah. I mean both, but yeah, Coke.
They make Coca-Cola? I didn't know that. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, that's where the factory is.
I didn't know that. What we're going to do, this is our plan. We're heading down Sunday. We're driving from Nashville. It's about a 4-hour drive. So we're heading down Sunday. We're going to stop in and go to the Fan Fest that's down there. It's $20 for like veterans. So we're both veterans. We'll get in, go see some legends, see if I can do some interviews for Ball and Buds. Then we're waking up Monday morning. We're going to golf Bobby Jones's golf course. down there by Atlanta. Monday night, I'm skipping the home run derby for Magic City Grill, which I will hope to spend a lot of copious amounts of money and have a great time. And then Tuesday, we're going to go back to fanfare and then the game at night. And then during that whole time,
when you go to Magic City, what do you spend your money on?
We'll see how much a back room costs for.
Hey, who's performing this year in Atlanta? Who do they got performing the All-Star game?
I have no clue. You mean performing what? Like an all-star party or something?
I mean, they always perform at the game. There's always someone major from that city, so it could be a guy or someone like that. But there will be someone there for sure.
Why don't they bring out like Young Jeezy and T.I.?
I'd be dope, man.
Right?
That'd be awesome. And if I can meet any of y'all at the grill, I will see y'all at Magic City for some late night Monday wings, and then breweries. Me and my dad love breweries, so we're just gonna do all the Atlanta breweries around there. Sweetwater. Oh, Sweetwater is down there, right next to Atlanta. So
there's a couple of good breweries down there, man, for sure. You're gonna like those.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. Hey, thanks for the 2 hours for y'all sticking in. We really appreciate it. Again, make sure you tap in and subscribe to all of these channels: The Rec Room, I.O.W. Sports, and Ball and Buds. That being said, catch us at Ball and Buds tomorrow night, 8 Eastern. We will have boxing champs fight picks. We're going to do all the fights. We're going to do Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. We're going to do Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios, Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois, Shakur Stevenson, William Zepeda. We're going to be predicting all of the upcoming huge boxing matches. So tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Club Reading the Combat G, Papi Chunyeo, Skywalker Boxing Media, and yours truly. Cool? That being said, we'll see y'all next time. Holla!
Yeah.
He's with the millions. It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure four. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat close. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have